This week on the Spotlight, Adam Dunn. He leads the majors in homers. He leads the majors in walks. He leads the majors in strikeouts. He's a leader. We'll talk to him. Robin Ventura is the leader. He's the quiet leader of the White Sox. And they're in first place. So he must be doing something right. Though sometimes he has some wisecracky answers. Andre Dawson, as we flash back. I pull him out of the vines for an interview, and we'll have him and another flashback I haven't decided on yet this week. Check out my website, benkowski.com, for my weekly article and up-to-the-minute trivia sites. From wherever Chicago sports teams are making news, it's the 25th year of the Sports Spotlight. Flowers for every imaginable occasion at Lansing Floral Shop. Call them at 708-474-1212. They deliver. You've got to get to the Dirty Sock for Benkowski trivia and all the other things they got going on like cocktails and pizza. 93rd and Roberts Road. Eat, drink, and play. Wednesday, August 8th at 7:30 p.m. And again, Wednesday, August 22nd. That's 2 weeks later at 7:30 p.m. Dirty Sock. Want to get a haircut from a great hairstylist? Call mine, Rose Murillo, 312-726-2201. With a 30-year Southwest Side tradition, Huck Finn is open 24 hours to serve you with great breakfasts like the Becky Thatcher, soups, great lunches, 1/3 pound burgers, clubs, and much more. Dinners from seafood to steaks to pasta, great donuts, and ice creams. With 3 locations at Archer and Damon, 67th and Pulaski, and 105th and Cicero. Stop in today. You know Huck Finn is open. Time to get to Tanks, a very fun bar at 124th and Western. They got the outdoor beer garden going strong in this beautiful weather. Beanbag games. They're open Monday through Friday at 10 a.m., Saturday and Sunday at noon. You can watch the Sox, you can watch the Cubs, your favorite NFL games, daily specials. Tanks, 124th and Western.
Hi, my name is Rose, and I've been a skilled hairstylist for over 10 years. I specialize in men's haircuts and in corrective color. Come visit me at Salon 203 at 203 North LaSalle, 312-726-2201. And while you're at it, come in and get a shoe shine and a shave. It's a great place where a man can be a man.
Since 1967, El Jardín has been serving the finest Mexican food. Before, after, during ball games, located conveniently just 3 blocks south of Wrigley Field, 3335 North Clark. Whether there's a game or not, you still get hungry, and El Jardín has great service, great food, and great drinks. I've enjoyed every meal I've had there, and you will too. So get to El Jardín for great Mexican food at 3335 North Clark Street in Chicago. You'll be glad you did. We're back in the Spotlight, and we're talking hitting now. And let's say the lineup in general. Adam Dunn has been a very interesting figure for the White Sox. Of course, his 2011 season is legendary on the bad side. But his 2012 comeback could earn him an award. He was an all-star participant, and even though his batting average has cooled a little bit more in recent days, he is a good spokesman to talk about coming over from the National League, as Brett Myers has, and a guy he knows, and talks a little bit about facing him, the guy, fitting in, and being a new member of the 2012 White Sox, trying to get to that postseason. Here's Adam.
Adam, can you talk a little bit about what's happened to this club? Because it's such a strong offensive club, and it looks like Fawcett got turned off for several games.
Yeah, it happens. I mean, if you can find me a team that goes through 162 games without, running through some sort of offensive struggle, I don't think that team's been built yet. You guys seen us when we're swinging the bats well, and we've seen us when we haven't. So it's just kind of one of those things where hitting goes through in cycles for everyone, and right now we're not on a very good one.
Is this where the veterans kind of take the rookies aside and say, "Hey, this is just the wave of the baseball season. We're good, and we'll be back." Yeah,
and I think people, I think that's a good thing about it. Is I think people understand that. We played really good for a month and a half, and then we're obviously not playing very good right now, which I'd rather not play very good right now and end of July than it's into August or into September when it really, really matters. So hopefully we'll get hot at the right time.
Adam, you'll have a lot of home games in August, but how deflating is it right after the All-Star break? I mean, you have a long stretch right off off the bat on the road, and then you come home for 3, and then you're right back on the road.
It's tough. You know, that's a tough part about our schedule. It seems like our schedule's kind of been jacked up like that this year. So but we can't call the commissioner off and get a change yet now. So we got to grind it out and make the best of it.
Adam, of teams you played for in the past, what managers were good at trying to keep a team loose and from pressing at a time like this?
Well, I mean, I've had my fair share of managers, but each one of them does it kind of individually, in a different way. So, obviously Robin hasn't changed one bit. He's been the same guy, and it's just funny to me if we don't lose 3 games to beat Detroit right now. It's just because of who we played is why the emphasis is just we're obviously we know we're struggling, but if we don't get swept by them, it's probably not that big of an issue. So just kind of keep that in perspective. That's what we're doing.
Adam, can you talk about what the addition of Kevin Youkilis has meant for the team, not just his play, but also his clubhouse demeanor?
Yeah, I mean, he's exactly what we all thought he was and all knew he was. I mean, he's not a different person than he was 5, 6, 7 years ago. He's just, maybe a little more experienced. That's all. We know he's a great player and a great guy and a great teammate.
Thanks for that, sir.
Does it have some meaning beyond just the roster move to acquire a guy like Myers, when it shows maybe the commitment level of management to go for it this year?
Well, I think that we all knew that if we were in it, Kenny's going to do anything and everything he can do to put us over the top. And you obviously saw that with the Youkilis trade, and a lot of teams would have been done. But we realized that Kenny realized that we needed one more pitcher. Maybe add another one. Who knows? So they're going to do everything they can to put us in the best situation to be there at the end. And you got to respect that. I mean, that's why you play, is to play that 163rd game on, and that's what we want to do.
Thank you.
You got it.
Milano's Pizza at 109th and Western is the place to order from, like I do. Lasagna, chicken parm, Italian beef, and stuffed pizza besides the thin crust. They're open Monday through Wednesday at 3 p.m., Thursday through Saturday 11 a.m., and Sunday at noon. Call them at 773-445-4010. Come play in the area's classiest billiard center, Jukebox Billiards, 7910 Calumet Avenue in Munster, 2 blocks south of 8094. Selling the most famous names of pool tables and billiard equipment. Specializing in table recovery and moving of tables. A complete pro shop with the most brand names of cues and cases. Celebrating over 20 years, excellence, top billiard tables, the place where the action is, Jukebox Billiards, 7910 Calumet in Munster. You've got to get to Shelton Fireworks, the world's largest warehouse, off Interstate 94, exit 22B in Porter, Indiana. Row after row of the best fireworks anywhere, from the little ones to the grand finales that'll end your show. Birthdays, anniversaries, graduations, in addition to the 4th of July. Just get over there to Shelton Fireworks now. Then you can reload by the time summer comes. Shelton Fireworks, I-94, exit 22B in Portage. Bring your car to Quick Stop Muffler and Brake at 95th and Pulaski, and they'll fix it right. They also do shocks and struts, free estimates. Call them at 708-423-3700. They're very thorough in their work, and they have very competitive pricing. Quick Stop Muffler and Brake, 95th and Pulaski. We're back in the spotlight. More White Sox talk, of course. Contending team, battled, stayed in first much of May and June. And then you got July, which was going good for a while, and then the All-Star break. And Cub fans may be laughing, but they're the only ones. Robin talks about a lot of things, the mood of the club, things that he's thought about doing, and kind of gives a state of the White Sox address heading into August.
Have you had a little debate in your own mind about keeping the lineup stable as opposed to moving guys up and down?
I think you always do that. You're always looking for something that might make it better. I think that's the thing you're always tinkering with. But right now I like it the way it is.
Robin, Paul on the road trip went to right field a lot more. Is that by design? His power numbers have been down. Is his hand hurting him more than he's letting on?
No. I think it's just part of, you go through a period where you hit well, and then you go through one where it's not as good for you. So you got to find something to start with, and which is like the basics, and that's what he's gone back to, of being able to get inside it, go the other way, and then from there he can make adjustments.
Are you as curious to find out what this team is all about as you go toward the championship months of the season?
Yeah, I think everybody, you always think that way. I think when you start the season, there's going to be struggles, and again, you're going to find out what happens when it gets a little hairy, and that's what this road trip did. It's a tough road trip to start the second half, and you got to pick yourself up off the mat and show what you got.
The Twins have had Gavin's number lately the last year or two. Is that just a baseball quirk, or is he just a tough?
I think that's a baseball. It's just one of those. It just depends on when you catch him. I don't feel like I'm putting him in harm's way by putting him out there tonight. So I expect him to pitch well and for us to win.
Getting a couple of veterans, Jesse from the DL back and Myers in the trade, does that help you protect your starting pitchers a little more now that you can maybe bring some veterans in a little bit earlier?
I don't know if it protects them, but you'd like to have guys that have been in positions like this before and are good. I mean, both of them are quality guys out of the bullpen, and that's what you want. You want guys that you can count on, and you expect certain things when it come out of there. I think sometimes with the young guys, you don't know what you're going to get, and they've done well. Even the guys, when people went down, we had guys that came in, Almagrosso, Beal, Axelrod, they did fine, but the track record for guys like Crane and Myers are just better.
You've done a nice job this year not putting labels on people. I think you stay away from it better than anyone. He's a closer, he's a setup man. You always said that, the bullpen guys, we trust them all. Is that how you're looking at the Myers situation as he goes?
Yeah, Reeder's going to stay as the closer, and then
there's a label.
You fill in around that. And whatever situation you need him to come in, depending on how their lineup's set up, that's what you go with.
If you have 3 days in a row, would you use Myers to close at some point?
Yeah, it could be Myers, it could be Crane. Again, it depends on what you're looking at and what you're going up against.
Robin, aside from his play, what has the addition of Youkilis meant to the team in terms of his approach to the game and his clubhouse?
It's good. He's a tough guy. I think you watch his at-bats, and that's pretty much what you would expect. He's always at a full count, fouling pitches off. Just an aggressive player. He just plays it the right way. It's always good when you have guys like that in your lineup.
When you're away from the park, what do you worry about more? Making out your lineup, or how you're going to handle your pitching staff?
Yeah, lunch.
Never think about the team away from the park.
No, I mean, you do. You think about everything, but I'm not. You think about it, but I do most of that. I'm here early enough that I can do it here.
Robin, when you probably look at the schedule, could you probably anticipate that this stretch right after the All-Star break would have been a tough one for the season, right?
Tough for anybody. You look at starting on the road and going the places that you're going, and knowing you're only going to be home for the 3 days after the break for all of July is, it's tough, but it's a schedule, and you just keep playing. There's nothing to feel sorry about, for anybody. You just play.
With a 30-year Southwest Side tradition, Huck Finn is open 24 hours to serve you with great breakfasts like the Becky Thatcher, soups, great lunches, 1/3 pound burgers, clubs, and much more. Dinners from seafood to steaks to pasta, great donuts, and ice creams. With 3 locations at Archer and Damon, 67th and Pulaski, and 105th and Cicero. Stop in today. Huck Finn is open. You've got to get to Lansing Floral Shop. Open at 8 a.m. daily. Besides a great array of live flowers, they have custom silks, Bridgewater candles. They want you to plan your parties early at a wide delivery area. They're located at 3420 Ridge Road in Lansing, or you can call 708-474-1212. Weddings, funerals, birthdays, anniversaries, and guys, try the No Reason flower. Believe me, it works. Lansing Floral Shop. Give them a call, 708-474-1212. George's Sports Bar is not a secret anymore. 5407 West 95th Street, just a couple of blocks off Central. They have $1 Bud bottles Tuesday and Thursday, $1.50 domestic Sunday and Wednesday. They have a DJ on Friday. They have golden tea, and they have a very cool mini bowling alley at 5407 West 95th. Get there. Come play in the area's classiest billiard center, Jukebox Billiards, 7910 Calumet Avenue in Munster, 2 blocks south of 8094. Selling the most famous names of pool tables and billiard equipment. Specializing in table recovery and moving of tables. A complete pro shop with the most brand names of cues and cases. Celebrating over 20 years, excellence, top billiard tables, the place where the action is, Jukebox Billiards, 7910 Calumet in Munster. Oh, hello, and welcome to another edition of the Benkowski Sports Spotlight. We're in the Bard's Room of Comiskey Park, old Comiskey Park, where a lot of history has taken place, going back, about 80 years. This is one of the last times we're going to be able to sit in this room and talk to you. I think, first of all, on what should be a very wide-ranging show, we're going to have action from the White Sox, certainly from the Bears, but first let's start outside on the diamond at Old Comiskey. What a surprise that barely 21-year-old Alex Fernandez would make an immediate impact. He should have won all 3 of his first starts with the White Sox, and we talked to him. I'd like to find out, when you came to the club, what were you looking to do before 1990 ended, and how close have you come to having achieved it already?
Well, first I'll start off ever since I got drafted. My goal was to be in the big leagues by September, and that was a tough goal. I put upon myself, but I knew I was able to achieve it with my ability and the way I like to work. I accomplished that goal and more. I got up here real fast, and I'm very fortunate to be in such a good organization, I feel. But I've taken game by game, and experience is a big factor here in the big leagues, and I don't have much of it, but that's no excuse for going out there and not having a good game. I just feel that I have the ability, and that's why they feel confident in me. That's why they brought me up. I mean, everything's worked out great for me, and I'm ahead of schedule, but I'm going to continue being ahead of schedule, hopefully, and just trying to do my best out there.
Well, you've had such a rapid rise. Could you give a sentence or two about each of your steps since you've been drafted? Yeah, well, I got drafted. I was sent to rookie ball minicamp where all the draftees go to, and I was there for, I think it was a week and a half, and it was all right. It's rookie ball, and you struggle at the beginning, and it was fun because it was just professional baseball. And then I got moved, after a couple starts there, I got moved up to Single A, Sarasota Sox, and I had 2 starts there, had a very successful second start there, and I was happy with my performance. The next day I got called up to Birmingham, which is AA ball, so I was moving right along. So I had 4 starts at Birmingham, and did really well there. It was 3-1 there, no 3-0 I think, and I was happy. I had a good team behind me and a good offensive team, so that helped me out to get my wins. But and then I got a phone call saying you've been called up to pitch in the big leagues by Milwaukee against Milwaukee August 2nd. I said, wow, this is, pack my bags and go again. So I was basically packing and unpacking, and I've gotten here, and hopefully it is my last step, and I'm going to stay here for a long time. Tell us about the feelings you had as you were compiling your first major league victory. There must have been an inning where you knew that you were going to probably win that game. Well, I knew I was going to win that game was when the game was over, because you never know what's going to happen. First start was against Milwaukee. I didn't get a victory, but I had a very good, solid performance, I felt, and we got a victory, which mainly that's what we need right now in our pennant race. And Alex Fernandez will be around for many pennant races, up through the year 2000, I believe. Jack McDowell's been tough lately. He struck out 117 batters. And also from the offensive end, Dan Pasqua coming through with key hits. This drove in a pair and gave the Sox the early lead in Game 1 of their doubleheader last Friday night against Texas. Pasqua also contributed with power, a key home run, and that's why the White Sox were en route to a doubleheader sweep. Bobby Thigpen recorded save number 37, but there was some fine pitching by McDowell. What was he doing?
Everything. Keeping him off balance. I'm able to throw my split a couple different speeds, use it as a changeup and throw it behind in the count, throw it 3-2, so it's been effective for me.
The delay didn't seem to bother you?
No, it was pretty early in the game that it wasn't really a factor.
Still an hour, though.
Yeah, but it really did. I feel pretty good now. I'm coming back quick, and it's easy to stay loose. It's it's not like I'm tightening up. Sit around and wait for him to take the tarp off. Yeah, we didn't do anything really.
important on a night when you got a doubleheader and you come off a long road trip to give them, good eight, go into the eighth?
Yeah, I mean, I was hoping I could finish the game, but I know I ended up with a lot of pitches. That's definitely on your mind as a starter in this situation. I know they're worried that if bullpen's spent, we got a lot of games coming up, especially right here. Guys can be a little bit tired, maybe a little lax, so we're going to have some strong pitching performances.
It's a big victory coming after that KC series, huh?
Yeah, that was a tough series. I think we should have played a lot better than we did. It's just one of those situations. They really were on the down. They had a couple of their big guns out, and they battled us. They battled us hard. It's just too bad we didn't walk away with at least 1 or 2 more wins.
Is there an extra pump for you when you have a game like this?
If you're not pumped every game, from like 2 months ago on, you're not going to get pumped. I hope everyone can see that and go with it. A lot of times it looks like we've played a little flat. I mean, that's understandable. It's late in the season and you can get tired, but that, hopefully can't happen too often here.
I eat on the pasta twice.
Salerno's Restaurant and Pizzeria at Grand and Racine is the place to go before United Center Pavilion, Bulls, Hawks, Cubs, and Sox too. Dine in or carry out with great family recipes, including homemade pastas, steaks, seafood, a great fun bar area. Meet people, have a tremendous time at Salerno's Restaurant and Pizzeria, Grand and Racine. You'll find a great variety of foods for you to enjoy at Salerno's. Go play at Red Shoes Billiards, 12009 South Pulaski in Alsip, featuring 16 Brunswick Gold Crown pool tables, drop fluorescent lighting fixtures, and the fabulous grade of cloth. Call 708-388-3700. That's Red Shoe Billiards, 12009 South Pulaski. I got a good idea. Get to Kelly's Tavern, where you'll see Benkowski Trivia Friday, August 17th at 8 p.m. and again on August 24th at 8 p.m. Come out and play, bring your friends, have a good time. 4403 South Wallace. A lot of times we gather in the backyard there. They have a real nice patio when the weather's nice. So check it out. No matter what the weather, Kelly's Tavern has Benkowski Trivia at 44th and Wallace. Come out and play and have a very good time. Lindy's Chili, Gertie's Ice Cream at 110th and Kedzie has it all. From fresh-made burgers, fries, hot dogs, chicken, turkey, Polish, shrimp, tuna, barbecue, ham, tamales, quesadillas. They've got salads and plenty of ice cream with sundaes, banana splits, and seasonal favorites. Get all these things at Lindy's Chili, which is where I start, but I always get a little something extra, at 110th and Kedzie. Welcome to another edition of the Benkowski Sports Spotlight. We're at New Comiskey Park, where the pennant race is intensifying, both in the West and in the East. We'll talk about some of the events going on here, but first, we're going to take you to an interview done a few days ago featuring a very prominent Chicago Cub. You know him as Andre. In typical Wrigley Field fashion, the Cubs have beaten the top teams and lost to the scrubs this year. In a recent conversation at the friendly confines, I talked to Andre about where the club is going and if the hitting could sustain itself to actually keep them in the Eastern Division race.
Well, of course, I think we still have the potential to go out and produce runs, and it's probably going to be that way all year. As far as the pitching is concerned, we've gotten some great starts. We've got some good games pitched the last 2 weeks from our starting rotation, and we've had a share of problems with the bullpen. That's no big secret, but I do feel that it takes a combination of the two, and when you're chasing a team and you're 10.5 games out, it's awfully difficult because you got 3 other teams ahead of you. You're trying to catch, and you start playing within your own division. It makes it that much tougher to gain ground.
Now, oftentimes we hear pitchers complain about not getting runs, but the way the top of your lineup is produced for the most part, especially with the 3 MVPs, it would seem like your starting pitchers should be very grateful.
Well, we felt coming in we were built around our starting pitching, and then we had some injuries to some key starters, Mike Harkey, who was out for the year, Sutcliffe, who was questionable before the season even started, Dave Smith, who was going on the DL, and Danny Jackson, who's been disabled for the most part all of the season. And I just personally feel when you lose those type of guys for any prolonged period of time, it makes it that much more difficult, and it puts a lot more pressure on your pitching staff. And as I said, we were built around our pitching coming in with the idea of knowing we could score some runs, and we felt we could go on as far as those guys would take us.
It's been a stormy year in some ways. I think back to maybe the first time I interviewed you in about 1976, and you know, you had a very quiet persona about you, and you know, you went out and you got your 25 home runs and drove in about 99 runs every year. And this year, for some reason, there's been a couple incidents, the bats and the umpire, you know, a couple of pitches shaven close. Do you think that for whatever reason the Cubs as an entity are not getting the proper respect this year?
Well, I think it's pitching inside is a part of the game, and it's something I don't condone, but I don't think you throw up and in around someone's head to make a point. People seem to take the idea that I dive at pitches, which is something I don't really totally agree with. I stand off the plate and step toward the pitcher, but for some reason I seem to get more brushback and knockdown pitches, and I don't think it's a lack of respect as a ball club. We got a pitching staff who sits and notices that, and I think in essence to protect your ball players, you got to do likewise. You 24-man unit, and you got to pick each other up day in and day out, and you got to protect each other. So it's a part of the game, but you know, I just personally feel that teams for this season anyway aren't really intimidated by the fact that we coming into this season was picked to win our division, and we got off to the bad start and struggled, and for some reason they got a little bit comfortable against us.
Would you ever charge the mound?
Well, I won't say I won't do it. As a player, you know when you're purposely being thrown at, and the one thing you got to think about is, you know, your later years. Baseball is your livelihood, but you got to protect yourself. And if I thought a pitcher purposely was throwing at me, of course, I would do whatever I felt necessary to protect myself.
To switch topics and wrap up, I want to kind of end on a light note if we can. And obviously your relationship with Tim Raines is well chronicled. And way back when the Cubs played the White Sox this year, you had that little discussion with us and saying how Raines would come around. I just want to find out your reactions to the White Sox success this year, because they're one of the surprise teams around.
Well, I don't think it should surprise anyone, because they were right there until, I guess, the last few weeks or so of last season. They have a very good young ball club, and they have a manager who's done a splendid job in utilizing his pitching staff, and I just feel that they're going to be a team to be reckoned with. Robin Ventura is coming into his own. You can't say enough about the big guy Thomas, who I think is opening a lot of people's eyes. So they have a fine young crop of talent, and I think they're going to be heard from.
Interestingly, this man, Ivan Calderon, no longer with us, was playing for the Expos then, Andre Dawson's original team, and Calderon was a very clutch player in his White Sox days. We wished him best in this interview. His life cut short much too quickly in a car accident, I believe, in his native land. This is the Sports Spotlight. This week's show has been brought to you by the Lansing Floral Shop. Call for your flowers at 708-474-1212. Huck Finn, a great wide-ranging menu, along with donuts and ice cream. Open 24 hours at Archer and Damon, 67th and Pulaski, and 105th and Cicero. Imprint Graphics, leaders in booklet, perfect bound saddle stitch. Very competitive pricing, 708-396-1010.